Hey guys, a lot of you know I've been doing a series with immigration attorney Saman, who is a wonderful attorney and a very lovely person. And we've been discussing the K-1 visa, what it entails, and just trying to give information to people who are interested in the subject. A lot of people that watch me, that watch the show, are interested in it from that perspective. And I know a lot of you also have fallen in love with foreigners that just want some more information. I'm now releasing part 2 of the series, which talks more about like what to expect from the K-1, how is it different from the spousal visa, what is considered divorce from the immigration perspective, because sometimes people think they're divorced and they're not. We'll be releasing more cool content like this, and definitely follow Saman at immigration underscore attorney underscore Saman.
Define what divorce is from an immigration perspective. Like, how are you legally divorced? Because you've had situations
Okay,
where clients have been married to more than one individual at a time.
right. So the important point of understanding the divorce for immigration purposes has to do with jurisdiction. Where are you residing when the divorce is going through? And in certain countries, it's super easy to hire a representative and have that representative do all of the legalities and get divorced there because, for example, you don't want to deal with any of the issues where you're at. Okay. Yes, that may be fine for what you're looking for the divorce, but for immigration purposes, if the neither spouse is residing within the jurisdiction of where the divorce is, immigration will not recognize that divorce.
Wait, so that's interesting.
You don't both have to. One
Oh,
of the parties have to be resident of where the divorce happened. So, for example, Dominican Republic is a very common example. It's very easy to get divorced in Dominican Republic when you are not from the Dominican Republic. Okay. So
okay.
a lot of times you can just hire somebody, a representative over there, and they can do the divorce for you. If neither party is a resident of Dominican Republic when those proceedings are going on and the final decree comes out of divorce, immigration will not recognize that as a divorce.
All right. Okay, now I understand. I was
So
going to
we
say
get
in that
this a
case,
lot
Okay.
where all of a sudden people will come in and say, immigration says that I'm not married to my spouse right now. Or this will happen in the fiance too, in the petition, when the consulate officer will go through everything and say, we realize that you got divorced. Neither you or your ex were living in this country or in this area when you got divorced. And then everything will have to start all over.
One of our viewers has a really good question. Can you travel back and forth with a K-1 visa?
No, it is single entry. A
Mm.
very short period of time, 90 days. You cannot travel back and forth. It is not no, it's not multiple entry. You come in with the intention to get married. You get married, and then from there you can file for the travel document and with the green card application, and then travel when you get the advance parole.
you know, as an immigration attorney, when you watch, for example, 90 Day Fiance, and they talk about how, well, I'm not really sure if I, want to get married or blah, blah, blah. I feel like, I mean, I did a lot of research before filing the K-1. I knew that you have to have an intention to marry the person before they even get to the U.S. And now you have to sign an affidavit saying, I intend to marry this person. So how does that for you, like seeing that on TV, is it kind of like frustrate you a little bit or?
A little bit, I also understand, a little bit of how the theatrics work in television, and everybody's always on the edge of the seat to see how things turn out. And I'm sure that there is some truth to their statements because, getting married is a big deal and you want it to be forever. I mean, nobody gets married to then plan their divorce. You get married because you want to plan your life with the person that you're with. It just so happens that, you're dealing in a situation where there's, cultural differences, religious, I mean, all the differences that come in a pot comes in these types of situations.
Right.
So there may be trepidation, but you're absolutely right. There is a very strong intent letter. You have to sign it. 90 days, you're coming to the U.S. to get married, and you know, that is what it is.
So what happens if you don't get married in the 90 days, but you got married on the 91st day or the 100th day or the 120th day?
You have to file an I-130 spousal petition.
Okay.
And how does that change the process?
That's how you salvage that. Now, that's only if you only get married with your spouse after the 90 days. We're not talking about getting married to somebody else, because there's no situation for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on our next series of series. But
yeah, I feel like that's, I know for people who follow the show, there's been a lot of drama with that recently, that, you know, how will someone stay if they, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the nightmare scenario, right? That you fall in love with someone, you bring them to the U.S. and you believe that they want to marry you. They sign that affidavit and then it's not true. You know, that's why the 90-Day Fiance has become so popular, because that's just, you know, what happens if that really happens, and that's just very painful. Oh my God.
It is. And, you know, I've actually, I have been a part where I have seen the beneficiary have to go back to their country because it just has not worked out. Not everybody who gets the fiance visa comes here and stays here. You know, there's situations where it just doesn't work out and it goes back. They have to go back. Now, what allows somebody to stay? I mean, that usually is humanitarian visa options. Either they're a victim of a crime, or they're a victim of abuse, or they're a victim of some type of trafficking, where the normal immigration rules don't apply when it comes to being able to stay. But again, you know, it is, it's a very delicate topic, staying in the U.S. after that visa.
Yeah.
Not with your spouse. Yes, not with your spouse. But in general, yeah, definitely. If you do get married on the 91st day, you have to file the I-130 petition in order to salvage the case.
So in the case where where the American feels that their foreign beneficiary was not in it for the right reasons, what do they have to do? They report that to immigration, or?
Well, it depends on where they're at in the process. So the petitioner holds a lot of control in the fiancé visa process when it comes to the actual paperwork. And the financial affidavit of the I-864, when it comes for the application of the green card, also has a tremendous amount of value to it. And if the petitioner decides that they don't want to sponsor or continue with the process, it would be to withdraw that sponsorship before the case has been approved.
So about that sponsorship, because I was under the impression that, yeah, you agree to sponsor someone for, 10 years or until they become a citizen, whatever, but, the government rarely goes after people to collect on any benefits that have been, gained.
So that's a really good point. And let me tell you something. I have seen, not directly, but indirectly, I have seen cases where the government is actually starting to pursue that, and where the beneficiary is also pursuing the I-864 when the petitioner has signed. Like, I've been seeing cases where people are taking that document for either side and using it for, the fullest potential of what it is, not just leaving it as a formal document. You know what I mean? Like the I-864, you would say, okay, what is the I-864? Oh, it's a formal document. Don't worry. You sign it. Make sure that, he's not going to get on any government assistance. If he can't pay it, the government's going to come after you. And if you have a joint sponsor, then they'll go after the joint sponsor. But don't worry about it. Nobody's ever going after any of that. That was usually the sentiment with the I-864. But that's what I'm saying. Now I've actually been seeing and hearing indirectly, not with any of my cases personally, but that there are situations where they're trying to use the potential of that form.
Now, how long is the processing time for the K-1 visa?
Okay, great question. So it depends on where your petition is at. There are several centralized service centers around the United States that accept the petitions. They generally go to a one lockbox area, and from them they're distributed and then transferred out. But processing times can be 4 months to 14 months. And I know that that's super drastic, but it really depends on where the petition is going. We've seen cases move much faster, and then cases take a lot longer. USCIS has a national, staffing shortage crisis, and they have their own internal issues that they're dealing with in processing these cases. It doesn't necessarily mean your case is bad or another case is good. It's just right now part of the process how long these petitions are taking.
Yeah, when
Absolutely.
I was recently at the USCIS office, they told me, yeah, we're hiring.
Yeah. Oh. Look at that. That would be a story for the 90-Day Fiance.
Really?
That'd be a
4 month
great
veteran
spinoff.
turns into USCIS employee.
Is there a difference on the waiting period if you have an attorney or if you file it yourself?
So the real no, I'll say in general, it's not like we have our own special lockbox address where we can send packages to. I wish there was, but the honest answer is no, there's not. However, we know what we're doing, right? We've been doing that. We do this day in and day out. An immigration attorney is only supposed to be an immigration attorney. That's all we do is focus on these type of processes and petitions. So with that experience comes knowing what the government looks for, issue spotting, and trying to manage and control the package and make sure that it's successful. So that's really what the role and the job is of the attorney. But there is not a special fast track lane.
Yeah, because Ari, you had delays because you filed it right during COVID when the lockdown occurred, correct?
Yeah, it was just like this huge period of like, oh, well, I guess we're never going to go to the US. We started making other plans. Like, what's our life going to be like now if we don't go to the US? And we had different options of what we might do. But then one of the things I think that really freaked me out right before I filed the petition was that I heard there was like a new rule under the Trump administration that said like you can't leave anything blank. You have to put not applicable or something in every line. So I I lost so much sleep just thinking like, did I do every line and just thinking about it and like always photocopy everything and save it. And yeah, it's just, that's little things like that, why you might want to have a lawyer. But on the other hand, you want to get a good lawyer like Saman, because I did hire a lawyer for my, when I filed the petition for my husband back when he was my husband, with my ex-husband 10 years ago or whenever that was. I don't even know time, but in that lawyer's office, they were not like you guys. They were not on top of things, and so I ended up having to, constantly call and correct them. So I would say that make sure that the people that you work with, in like in anything, your doctor, your lawyer, you have to get someone that's good. I know you guys are the best at what you do, so I'm not worried about that. But
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And like Madeline said, this is going to be our first of a few, definitely dissecting into the K-1 world. And we look forward to doing this again and having you guys watch the second series.
Thank you guys for joining. And if anybody has any questions, definitely go on Immigration Attorney Saman and reach out to us. We're here to help you.
Thank you guys. Thanks. Have a good night.
Bye.
See
Have a
y'all.
good night.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone. So just a reminder, if you really enjoyed that video and you felt like you were really learning something, there will be more. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications so you can get notification for all the new informational videos that I will be releasing. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you'd like to see more of. And don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Contact information for Saman can be found below.